Hey gang, how's it going? I'm Todd Nauck. Welcome to my Periscope broadcast. It's the Todd Nauck Show. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for tuning in on YouTube when this posts to YouTube later on. So hope everyone's doing well. I've been really busy with work and with travel. I was gone for San Diego Comic Con and the London Comic Con, and just got back from our London vacation. I guess a couple of days ago. Still getting over the jet lag and getting back into the swing of things. But it's been a long time since I've done a Periscope broadcast. I seem to be doing these fairly irregularly this summer, so thanks for your patience and support. So gonna do a Post-it note warm-up sketch, and I'll do my best to answer questions. As always, if you're new to my channel or to my broadcast, I try to answer questions as I draw. But since most of my focus is on the art, I'm not able to always catch every question or answer every question, but I truly appreciate you posting them. Usually I try to go back and rewatch and see all the questions I missed. So I appreciate your patience and your understanding. So let's pop into the rig and get drawing. Oh, Ollie. Hi, Ollie. I did meet you at London Film and Comic Con. I need to flip the camera around. Here we go. Sorry for the flip there, gang. Be sure to turn your devices sideways so that you can see the broadcast in full screen. All right, how are we looking there? Is that working? Okay. Let me adjust. Yeah, I think we're adjusted as far as I can go there. And Gareth from London Film and Comic Con. Good to see you again as well, Gareth. It was great meeting you. It's good to see the England, Ireland, the Welsh, English, Irish, Welsh, Scotland. We met so many people at London Film and Comic Con. French, German, Italian. It's your first time to my broadcast? Welcome. Glad you're here. If you like what you see, stop by my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Todd Nauck, for more of my Periscopes from the past as well as all new art videos. Thank you for that, Gareth. Getting word into your Dublin Comic Con to have me out as a guest. I appreciate that. If you'd like me as a comic book guest in your part of the world, feel free to let your convention promoter know which comic creators you'd like to see at your con, and maybe they'll extend an invite and bring out the creators you want to meet. This will be Logan. In fact, this will be 1980s brown and gold Logan, my personal favorite Wolverine costume. Please say your name. Okay, Ruiz Arandi. I'll try to get to that as soon as I can. See what I did there? Oh, you're welcome, Ollie. I'm glad you were able to make it to my portfolio review at the convention. Hope you've been able to work in those panel gutters in your storytelling. Any particular lead or pencil that I'm using? Yeah, I'm using my favorite Uni KuruToga mechanical pencil. It's a 0.3 lead, which is a very thin lead. It breaks very easily, so it forces you to develop a lighter touch to your art. It can't be so heavy-handed, otherwise you're breaking your lead every time you put pencil to paper, which I still break my lead frequently, but not as frequently. And the size, the lead is an HB lead. That's the softness or hardness, I guess, since it's right in the middle. So it's right there in the middle. Am I reading Dark Knight 3? No, I haven't had a chance to read that. In fact, I'm way behind on my comic reading this summer because of all of the convention travel and work. Who's my favorite pitcher for the fastball special with Logan? I think there's really only, well, I guess there isn't just one, but for me it's got to always be Colossus. I mean, I think Rogue has done it back when she had Miss Marvel's super strength, but the Colossus and Wolverine doing the fastball special, that is my favorite, and seemed to be the most frequent. Do I like Old Man Logan? I haven't had a chance to read his series, but I have read him in Extraordinary X-Men, and he's all right. I think I'd prefer to have regular Logan back someday, but Old Man Logan seems pretty cool, and his storyline sounds pretty cool as well. I just wish I had time to read it. Sounds pretty tragic for the guy. When did I start drawing? I don't know when I started exactly, but my earliest memories are of drawing. Around age 3. I remember sitting at the kitchen table scribbling in a circle, and drawing stick figures in children's books with my mom. So those are my earliest memories of drawing. Things got better from there. Thoughts on Marvel trying to get rid of the mutants in their universe? Not sure if I've heard anything official about that, so no, I don't have any thoughts about that. Has there been some sort of official press release announcement or something that I missed while I was away traveling? What's the biggest mistake I see people make when they're trying to break into the comics? I think the first thing that comes to the top of my mind when I see young artists bring their portfolio to conventions, I see a bunch of pinups. And pinups will not get you a job drawing comics very well. You need to show you can draw a story. And drawing sequential comic book art is pretty overwhelming. It's a challenge. It's difficult. It takes a lot of practice to learn and master, or at least get good enough to get hired. So I think that's the mistake I see, is young artists being tentative to take on the challenge of doing sequential story art. You gotta meet that challenge, and you gotta start learning to tell those stories so that you can get that job. Saw some. Oh, you're loving Deadpool Too Soon. Thanks so much. Thanks for reading Deadpool Too Soon. If you guys weren't aware, my current series is called Deadpool Too Soon. It's right now it's an infinite comic that you can read solely on Comixology. It's an eight-part story, digital story. In October, Marvel released that 8-part story as a 4-issue miniseries, much like they did with the first X-Men 92 series during Civil War. And much like how they did my Spider-Man Silk, the Spider-Fly Effect series, 8-part digital story, which then became a 4-issue miniseries. So, yeah, Deadpool's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And the first issue of Deadpool, the print version, if you prefer to read your comics in print, that will be out in October. I think someone had a question. I didn't quite catch all of it, but what was the most unusual comic I had to draw? Something like that. Hopefully I understood your question correctly. And I'd say one of the the two most unusual stories I did was Marvel Apes versus Marvel Zombies. In the one shot that I did, I think, which was collected in the Marvel Apes trade paperback. And let's see, the other one was for the Death of Deadpool issue. I did a Benjamin Grimm, The Thing, meets Ghost of Benjamin Franklin for to stop this new villain. I forgot the villain's name. He was kind of a throwaway villain. Doubt we'll ever see him rear his villainous head ever again. It's more of a kind of a one-note joke, like a trance DJ who rode a giant squid, and they tried to take over Philadelphia. And what made that story even stranger was that the ghost of Benjamin Franklin, had just gotten out of the shower, I guess the ghost shower, and was naked the whole time. So, The Thing and naked ghost of Ben Franklin fighting a trance DJ supervillain, wannabe supervillain, who rode a 10-story squid, giant squid, trying to take over Philadelphia. If you haven't read the Death of Deadpool issue and my backup story in there, be sure to pull out your copy and give it a look-see. It was very strange. So I'd say those are the two most unusual stories I did. Again, if I understood your question correctly. Why do I draw on Post-it notes? This started as a little warm-up exercise about almost 2 years ago? I've lost track of time. I think it was 2 years ago. I just wanted to do a quick little sketch to kind of get warmed up, and I just wanted to use a small piece of paper so that I was forced to draw, not spend the whole day working on a larger piece. So I got the smallest piece of paper I could find in my office, which was a stack of Post-it notes. And I read Post-it note, drew a Spidey on there, and as most comic artists do, we'll post whatever we're working on or sketching onto our social media to share with you guys. And it got some favorable response, so I just kept doing it, and it just became a thing, kind of gradually, especially over the next year. So that's why I did it. Can you expect new WildGuard stuff? You can expect a short story. Hopefully sometime when I can finish the short story I've been working on. I've been doing an experiment with drawing. We're doing a penciled, inked, and watercolored story. I was talking with superstar watercolor comic book artist Dustin Nguyen, and he was saying I should give it a try. So I figured if you get that kind of go ahead from someone like Dustin Nguyen, you should give it a whirl. So I thought, I'll do it as an experiment, and I'll just do a brand new WildGuard short story. So it will be about maybe 10 to 16 pages. I will hope to have it ready by this summer, but I got busy with the Spider-Man and now Deadpool project, so that's slowed me down. So who knows when I'll get that finished, but hopefully later this year into early next year, if I'm lucky. And when that's available to read, I'll have postings on all my social media as well as my website, so no one misses out. But it's more of a kind of a back burner project, and I get to it whenever I have the free time. And this year I have had very little free time. You're welcome, Gareth. Thanks for supporting my art and getting a commission at the London Film and Comic Con. Do I know things about Marvel's upcoming movies that you don't? I don't know if I do or not. I'd probably say more than likely I don't, because I am focused on the projects that are on my plate. So I'm probably in the same boat as you. What type of paper works best for blending Copic colors? I personally enjoy Bristol board, which you'll see in my Copic marker videos on my YouTube channel. I use either Strathmore smooth Bristol board or Canson recycled Bristol board, which is also another smooth Bristol board. Usually the 300 series, so that's what I like to use. See, where's my French curve? So I was using a 0.8 Pigma Micron for these lines here, and I'm sizing down to a 0.1 for some of the smaller facial features or details, and for the stubble on his chin. This is the 0.1 Pigma Micron pen. Alright, let's do some erasing here and then jump right into some Copic colors. Now with Post-it notes, it's good to pull in the direction away from the paper, because this Post-it note stuck here, sticky to the top, so it's all floppy down here. Don't want to go back and forth, because it will crinkle up the paper. So it's good to pull in one direction, and that is in the direction away from the sticky side. That'll keep you from crinkling your paper. So there's the line art. And now let's add some color. So we'll start with some flesh tones using the E00 as my basis. Have I seen the Suicide Squad? No, I was away on my trip to England when it premiered, and just got back from England and have not had a chance to see it. In fact, I have not had a chance to see many movies. I even missed the X-Men movie. I love X-Men, and I missed X-Men Apocalypse. So that shows you how busy I am right now. So I'll probably catch Suicide Squad along with Batman, Superman, X-Men, and all the other superhero movies, aside from Civil War, which I actually did get a chance to see on DVD or the viewing platforms. So that was the E00. Now I'm doing an E000. So why do I draw comics? Because I love comics. I love the way we can tell stories. I love superheroes. I love my hair. I love my curls. I love my mom. I love my house. I love the X-Men. I love Young Justice. I love Nightcrawler. I love Spider-Man. Hopefully y'all are catching the reference, that viral video of that little girl at the mirror who is saying everything she loves. I just love superheroes. I love the way we can tell comic books, or tell stories through comic books. So I did some E01 there. So really it's just using different shades of the E0. Now I'm using an E11 here for some darker shades. And you just cut the planes of the face. Where there'd be shadow, using darker shades where there would be shadow. To kind of sculpt the face with the color. Let's do some gold here. Start with a Y19. Kick in some Y21. It's a lighter shade here, pulling from the darker shade, but blending it into the Y19 I'd laid down, leaving a little bit of the paper available for highlight, a little something for the eye to play with. And let's see, now let's drop in the brown part of his costume. I left his mask open. Some artists would make it all black, sometimes they would make it gray, and sometimes we'd see them bring the brown of his costume up into the mask. And I kind of wanted to do that since we haven't seen that very often. I think it's kind of a cool look. Get my T-square out of the way. So right now I'm starting with an E15, kind of a medium shade brown, series of brown I'll use. Kind of cut in the initial shapes. So keep in mind the brown, the chin, the cheekbone, the ear, the flare up of the mask, leaving spots open in regards to that. Saw a question there about Wolverine, about something to the screen. I don't know if you're referring to the movie Wolverine. If you'd like to repost, hopefully I'll catch. Oh, I missed another one there about Copic illustration. Well, I was trying to say I missed the one about Wolverine. It's like that thing with Homer Simpson's. What did he say? Or when they're watching the movie? What did he just say? What did he just say when I just asked what did he just say? What did he just say when I just asked what did he say? I feel like I'm caught in that loop where I'm behind. And I'm going to come in with darker browns and lighter browns. Do I hate drawing buildings? No, I don't hate it. In fact, I've learned to love it. The more you learn to master perspective, the easier buildings become to draw. And sometimes they can be really fun. And what I think is going to be the most tedious part of the page actually can be really, really fun to do. And if you do a really good job on creating a cool environment for your characters, the whole piece kind of comes to life in the way that it's supposed to. So if you don't like drawing buildings, learn to love to drawing buildings, because they're good for you. Have I ever met Ildre Sinar? I apologize if I butchered your name there, Ildre. I've never met him in person, I do not believe. If we did, it was probably out of San Diego in the flurry of everybody meeting each other and running into each other. But I don't recall that I have. But I really do enjoy his art. Definitely a fan. I used to read his stuff when he was drawing, when he was working for Jay Farber at Image. I think he was drawing noble causes for a time. So I've been a long time fan of Ildre. Any tips on practicing drawing hair? Yeah, look at real life photos of hair. Study how the flow of the hair. Where the hairline is, and then build your hair from the hairline. Am I a fan of the Max? I have the early issues of the Max. I appreciate what Sam Keith did there, for sure. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of the Max like I am the fan of the X-Men, but I definitely was picking up the Max books in the early days of Image Comics. So, in that regard, yes. But I didn't see his MTV show. I missed that back in the day. I think I was making my big move from where I lived to California. So I missed a lot of shows when I didn't have cable. So this is the E17 I've been cutting in here with, adding some darker shadows to the brown areas. Sorry if I went off screen a little bit. Now I'm coming in with some E13, a lighter shade to kind of fill in the gaps and blend the E15 and E17 together a little bit more. still leaving some of the gray of the paper open, just to create stuff for the eye to play with. So I'm not looking to fill all that in. Pushing a little closer here. Sorry about that, gang. Let's see. So now I need to grab some of my grays. Do I collect action figures? The new X-Men wave is pretty sweet. You've got all of them. If you're referring to like the Juggernaut series with this costume, Wolverine, Kitty Pryde, Jim Lee Rogue, Phoenix, Cable, Deadpool, that one, Iceman, Havoc, I want to get that one because that is an awesome Kitty Pryde action figure, and my longtime Periscope viewers know that Kitty Pryde is my favorite Marvel superhero. So I definitely want Kitty, and of course, being an X-Men fan, I'd want this suit Wolverine, and I'd have to get Rogue, who is my second favorite X-Man, and then Jean Grey, and if I've already gone that far, I might as well get Iceman, one of my top 5 favorite X-Men, Havoc, one of my top 10 favorite X-Men, and then at that point I might as well just get Wolverine and Deadpool so that I can finish building the Juggernaut, one of my favorite X-Men villains. I also want the Marvel Legends Punk Rock Rogue, which is one of my favorite versions of Rogue. So I'm using a Warm 2 here to shadow out the flesh tones. And I'll use it here in the gold as well. Warm colors I tend to use warm gray for the most part. And cool colors, I use cool grays for the shading and shadowing. I like to use the grays here because it kind of gritties up the pick a bit, the colors. It's not so bright and skittly. It doesn't look like Skittles. One of my favorite candies. Traditional Skittles, and don't get me started on the green apple Skittle. That was a waste of a Skittle flavor. That belongs in its own separate bag of flavors. It doesn't belong in the original traditional. It does not pair well with the lemon, orange, grape, and strawberry Skittles, in my opinion. We need to bring the line back. Create another batch of flavors, watermelon, pineapple, put green apple there, but don't put it with the originals. Just the wrong flavor. Throws it all off. So let's see, let's add a little extra darker shade of a warm 3. Went from the warm 2 to a little warm 3. Thanks for letting me get on my Skittle soapbox there. It's one of my first world problem rants. But yeah, back to the point is dropping some cool and warm grays into your illustration over the colors to shade things out will keep your characters from looking really brightly colored, like a bag of Skittles, if that's not what you want. So I like to drop it in, and sometimes I will put in a little cool gray. And let's do that a little bit here, just to show the effect here. I'm not gonna use a lot, and it might not be very noticeable here. The little cool gray in the darkest part of the shadows gives it a little different bit of a texture here, a little different bit of a look. Like the shadow from the mask lifting off of his cowl here, just a little bit there, creates a little more depth. And if you look at real life, and I found that my grayscale game really kicked up a level when I looked at a photo of the Saturday Night Live sketch Pam to the Winter Pam. I looked at a screen cap so I could do an illustration of Pam to the Winter Pam, which if you did a search for Pam to the Winter Pam, you might find my illustration I did, which I actually ended up giving to the actress Adie Bryant from Saturday Night Live. She liked it so much, I gifted it to her, and that was a really cool experience. So, but since she was in that Guardians of the Galaxy hallway, cast a lot of shadows. So as I studied the colors, the flesh tones, and then the shadows on there, I noticed that it wasn't just warm grays, but I could utilize neutral and cool grays, and it started to create a new effect. So then that's when I started really seeing the importance of adding grays to my colors to make it more realistic in many ways. But I'm still against the green apple Skittle in the current bag of Skittles. See how I brought it all around there? how I connected everything. It's all connected, gang. It's all connected. So it's an N3 there for the metal claws. And putting a little N5 here at the base, where right behind the knuckles. I have a little trick there. More what I'm going to do with those claws. Let's see, I need to drop in some warm gray here in the cowl or his mask and gloves and such. So we'll kick into the warm 5. And it looks like I missed a lot of questions during my Skittles rant, and I apologize for that. Feel free to repost. Lime Skittles would be better. Thank you. See, yes, those of us who remember the Lime Skittles from like 5+ years ago, they messed with perfection. It was great. Green apple is a delicious Skittle. It just doesn't pair well with the current blend. The traditional blend is just like off. It's not good. I need to write a letter to the Skittles company. Dear Mr. Skittles, what have you done? I would be eating your candy every day if it weren't for the green apple. So thank you for protecting my health. Yours truly. Do I think I'm a bit over-obsessed with Skittles? You know, I might be. I might need to seek a Skittles support group. Or we can downgrade how many Skittles we eat. It's called little bit of Skittles. That would be the support group. Where we don't have to totally give up Skittles, we just have to monitor how much we eat. Just a little bit of Skittles. Actually, I'm just making this all much of a bigger joke than my true feelings about Skittles. Oops, sorry, I keep slipping off the edge of the paper there. I have a Skittle deficiency. All right, so let's see. I want to add a little blue here to his claws. So I add some blue. It's kind of, might be hard to see there, but it kind of silvers them out a bit more. I'll let my wife know you say hi. She will appreciate that. Okay, now next up is let's drop a fade in here. So since we're on the gray, I'm going to do a neutral gray fade. So we'll start with the N6. Thanks for all the hearts, gang. I really appreciate that. Appreciate your support. And thanks for inviting other followers to, or other people to come check out the broadcast. I really appreciate everyone's support and questions. Y'all are awesome. I love my fans. I love my viewers. I love my supporters. I love my comic book readers. I love my house. I love my curls. I love my Allisons. Oh, thank you for the kind words. Glad it never gets old watching me work. Glad you're having fun. I know I'm having fun, and that's what it's all about. So I went from the N6 to the N5. Now I'm to the N4. Slowly creating that fade from dark to light. So I'm going to skip over N3, jump to the N2. I know it's crazy, skipping over a color, skipping over a shade, but I wanted to keep some of the color of the paper there towards the bottom. Don't want to use it all up. Now to the N1. Just blending from the previous colors on down to create this fade. And let's go ahead and hit the N0. All right, so let's see, next up is a trick I like to do. Where is that? Need to find my sharpener, but this will do for now. I take some white watercolor pencil, Prisma watercolor pencil, a white one, and I just color over that gray of the claw to put a little white on top of it, and now that that claw stands off the paper just a bit more. And then next I want to take my Jelly Roll white gel pen. Come to Arizona, dude. I was just there at Phoenix Comic Con this past, was it late May, early June? Hope to be back there again next year. I will not be at their fan days, unfortunately. So a little white gel pen there for the eye. Now that eye really pops off the page. And one of my favorite finishing moves is white gel pen outline. Now here at this point I prefer to use my Uniball Signo white gel pen. It gives me just a little bit thicker of a line. Too thick to fill in the eye, that's why I use the Jelly Roll. It's a little bit of a finer point. But for the outline, I like a nice thick line, and the Jelly Roll, or not the Jelly Roll, the Pigma Micron has a little bit. Did I say Pigma Micron? I meant Uniball Signo. Sorry, still getting over jet lag. What day is this? Actually, I do need to know what day this is so I don't write the wrong date when I sign this illustration, which I do sometimes, because I have no concept of time. Keeping in mind the stubble, so I'm making sure that doesn't get lost as I do the outline around. And now for the hand and claws. There we go. Now to put my signature on here. Let's see. Just do it here right along the side. And what day is today? Is today the 9th or the 10th? I always forget. Let's look at, today is the 9th. August 9th. So it is August, right? 9th. August 9th, thank you. What year is this? Let's see, so we got the 9th, August 2025. Kidding, 2016. And there we go. Brown costume Wolverine on a gray post-it note, live before your eyes. So let me flip around here for a sign-off. Maybe I'll answer a question or two. Are we flipped around? Yes, we are. Whoops, sorry about that, gang. Flip it back around. Am I going to NYCC? Yes, I will be at NYCC. I will definitely be there. How do I do proportions of heads and faces? Study real-life heads and faces. Map out the distance and size relations between the eyes, nose, mouth, from the eye to the ear. Look at real life. Study real life. That'll really help out a lot. Even take some tracing paper and trace over the head, like find the eye line, the center line, nose line. Yeah, that'll help you. Thank you for the compliment. Did I put a lot of thought into my signature? No, not a lot of thought. No, I just kind of let it flow. Core shadows, we can talk about that another time. This is kind of the quick wrap up here, but yeah, we could talk about that another time. Any other questions? We good? Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in, and thanks for watching on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube. Hope you'll have a great time, and hopefully I'll be back to broadcast again in the near future. Be sure to read Deadpool 2 soon. If you're not reading it digitally, be sure you add it to your pull list so that you don't miss the first issue when it comes out in October. So, and this Wolverine piece will be posted on all my social networks, so make sure you're following me on Twitter, Instagram, our Todd Nauck Facebook page, Tumblr, and on my YouTube channel as well. Thanks again for tuning in, gang, and I'll see you again real soon. Take care.